Hello, dear viewers. Welcome again to Ndoping and Co. As we promised last time, we will do our best to be bringing you some videos of value every month. We are still on the series of happiness. I think the popular demand has been to explore a couple of things on happiness. Happiness, as it stands, is a feeling. It is as a result of intrinsic and extrinsic factors. This means internal and external factors contribute to our overall happiness. In one of my videos, I mentioned that we sometimes make the mistake of aligning being successful, being wealthy, or owning material things to being happy. In essence, you could be provided with everything you need to be comfortable in life, yet you remain miserable. And we have all seen this in celebrities, very wealthy people that have ended up committing suicide or ended up very miserable because despite their wealth, they could not still find happiness. Don't get me wrong, you could still be wealthy and happy, but you need to follow certain simple tips that could enable you live a happy, fulfilled, and a life of purpose. In our series today, we will be answering the question, can you control your happiness? If you're more curious, you want to learn more, stay tuned, and we'll definitely be right back. Thank you. Welcome back. I remember a quote from Albert Einstein, and he states, if you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal and not to people or objects. I repeat, if you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal and not to people or objects. I will refine that by saying tie it to an objective. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to an objective. And I'm just tying that to a quote from Albert Einstein. And I know most of you will know that name, Albert Einstein. Now, there are some simple tips and techniques that could enable you control your happiness. And as I said, we will be answering the question, can you control your happiness? The simple tricks and techniques are very easy, but I will need some amount of discipline. And what does it entail? There are two things in life. There are things that are within your control, and there are things that are not within your control. Let me start by focusing on the things that are not within your control. One of them is the past. You can't control your past. Your past is called a past for a reason. There might have been things that have gone wrong. There might have been things that have not worked the way you wanted things to happen, but you can't control your past. Focusing on the past steals your happiness. It steals your joy of today, and it stops you from moving forward. There's so many things that we dreamt of when we were much younger, a couple of years back, but things didn't play out the way they are. Do we focus on those things that we have planned and and where we are right now? Or do we focus on what will happen, moving forward? Another thing that is out of your control is the results or the outcome of certain things in life. You might put in your best, you might throw in all you can in terms of energy, in terms of knowledge, but the outcome might not be what you want. Do you focus on a negative outcome? Or do you look at how do I learn? And how do I move forward? How do I build on this? What mindset do you carry towards outcomes that you did not expect or outcomes that turn out negative? Another thing that is out of your control is other people's opinion of you. I have a personal policy, and you could have yours. My policy is if it doesn't hurt anybody and it doesn't displease God, then I'll do it. Then I'll be happy doing it. If it doesn't hurt anybody and it doesn't displease God, then I'm happily doing it. There will be people that might not like it. There will be people that might not align with it. There will be people that will not be comfortable with it. But I use those two principles. If it doesn't hurt somebody and it doesn't displease God, then it's okay by me. Maybe you might have your own principles, because if you focus on everything you want to do, you want people to clap for you, you want people to encourage you, and you rely on people's opinion, then your happiness lies in other people's hands. And people will manipulate it, and people will treat it the wrong way, even friends, even family. Remember that. Another thing that is not within your control is what others think of you. I repeat, what others think of you. We live in a social media world, what some people call the Android generation, where we value likes online. On Facebook, on Instagram, some people are looking at, 1,000 likes, 1,000,000 likes, far more than even personal relationships. And, even celebrities have suffered from derogatory comments that has hurt them significantly because people think differently of them. What about you and me? Do I focus on what people think of me if I am sure that what I'm doing, like I said before, aligns with my two principles? It's not hurting anybody intentionally, and it's not displacing God. I'll move forward, and I own my own happiness. I don't leave it in other people's hands, because each time I want to bother about what do people think of me, how do I dress, how do I look, then I actually still leave my happiness in other people's hands. Another big thing which is out of my control is the future. I cannot control the future. What I can control is today. What I can control is the things that I set for myself that enables a better future for me. There is another saying that I've always gone by when it comes to the future, is that you will be the same that you are today in 5 or 10 years, but for a couple of things. One of them is the books you read, the courses you take, and the people you associate with. And nowadays, it will also be the media that you consume. So I repeat, you will be the same that you are today in 5 or 10 years, but for a couple of things. The books you read, the people you associate with, the courses you take, or the social media that you consume. Which means there are things you can set now that makes the future better. But if you start worrying about the future, worrying about so many things that you can control, then you steal your joy. The future lies in God's hands for those of us that are Christians. And we can control it. We can control today. Make the right decisions today. Make the right choices today for yourself, for your family, that will enable a better future rather than worrying about the future. Another thing that is out of your control is other people's attitudes or feelings towards you. You can force somebody to love you. You can force somebody's attitude to be the best towards you. You could be your best. You could do your best. You could approach things in your best way. Even at work, your boss might not like you. Your friends might not like you. You can't control that. You can control what you can do, but you can control what they feel or their attitude towards you. And so if you focus on what other people feel, other people's attitude towards you, you let joy and happiness elude you. Now, let me go back, or let me come back to the best part of today's conversation. What is within my control? The very first one is my words. I repeat, my words. If I'm faced with a very difficult circumstance, if I'm approached by someone that's rude, if I'm in a very difficult relationship, how do I use my words? That is within my control. That also affects my happiness. Your words should be sweet enough that you can swallow. I know sometimes it's so difficult. I know sometimes it's extremely hard for us to keep our words within ourselves. We want to teach the other a lesson. We want to make them know that we are also tough. But to be very honest, once you do that, you're also contributing to your own happiness because you're using your words negatively against others. It's a spillover effect. You have control over your words. What again is within my control? My thoughts. What are the things I think about? I can think about all the negatives that you could ever imagine on earth. And that negative could build unhappiness, sadness, making me miserable. Or I could focus my thoughts on the plans that my Almighty God has for me, plans to prosper me, plans to make the best for me, and plans to make sure that everything goes well for me. I know He moves ahead of me. Those things, I can focus that and build my thoughts around that. And that could be life-changing, and that could sustain my happiness, which means I feed my thoughts with those things that are good, those things that can germinate even better things for the future. Another thing that is within my control is my response. Imagine you were to say something very rude to me. Imagine you were to look down on me, what they call snobbishness. Imagine all the things you can imagine that somebody could do to you that could enable you respond in a way that you make them know you're also tough. To be very honest, that's a spillover. Because the moment you do that to somebody else, I don't think it's going to make you happy. It's going to spill over, right? It's a feeling that comes out. It's like a boomerang. It will come back to also hurt you. And so your response to situation, your response to people, your approach can also determine how much you tame your own happiness. A big one, which I've always loved, is my self-talk. What do I tell myself? I'm a man in the mirror. When I look at my mirror, let's say in the morning or in the evening, what do I tell myself? What do I self-tell myself? I'm capable. I will do this. I will overcome this circumstance. I'm already there. It just takes my energy and I'm going to get this done. I have a God that's bigger than me. What's your self-talk? Ask yourself that question. That's part of that feeling, which helps to build your own happiness. Because happiness is actually what happens, like I said, internally, externally. Another thing is self-awareness. Self-awareness of the environment, self-awareness of the things that are around me, being sensitive to the spirit. Whatever happens, there's some amount of self-awareness that you have to keep because you have to be mindful of your environment, the places you get to, the things you do, because all of that feeds into your happiness. And I've mentioned this before, the media I consume is another one. The media that I consume, right? We live in a world where negative news seems to be the best. Go on social media. Those who of you watch CNN and BBC, I stopped watching that a while ago because everything is negative. The world is seen from a lens where it's almost like, the world is going to end tomorrow. Like Yeah, maybe the world might end tomorrow, of course, but you don't want to feed yourself with negativity. Feed yourself with all of these things we see today on social media. Social media is not bad. It's just that the social media, that exists right now, it's full of a lot of garbage. You need to be mindful with what you consume because that in itself can affect your happiness. And the very major one that I'll be concluding on is how I treat others. How I treat others. Brothers, each of us has an opportunity to treat somebody nicely. It could be somebody in a family, it could be a child, it could be a mother, it could be a stranger you meet on the road, it could be in a church, it could be wherever. How do you treat people? How do you treat even strangers? How do you treat your colleagues? How do you approach circumstances when it comes to other people? Do you discriminate against people? Do you carry a I don't care attitude? Or do you treat people with care? Do you treat people like you would want to be treated? It's a very big piece within the puzzle of happiness and a very big piece that enables you tame and control your own happiness. A very big piece that enables you to take control. The control, that is an example. You can actually control your happiness. It doesn't come easy. I should not put it out there as if, you could just start today and it ends all. No, it would take some time. It would take some discipline. It would take you really getting out of your comfort zone for you to be able to start controlling your happiness. But it needs you to be mindful. And from time to time, you would go out of it. It's normal, it's human. But the essential word is mindfulness, focusing on the things that you can control, building on that, feeding your mind with the right things, your thoughts, your words, your response to people, your self-talk, your self-awareness, the media you consume, and how you treat others. That will enable you build your own happiness, your own world, where everybody's going to see sunshine, where even in the midst of the storm, people will still see you smiling. And people want to know what is happening. And all of these factors must have surrounded you. These virtues that can enable you just be in your own world and be happy. This has been Ndoping and Co. And we hope you found some value in the video today. If you did find some value, please leave us a comment, like this video, share this video with your friends, encourage your friends to subscribe, because that encourages us and enables us to continue to provide these videos of value to you. If you've not yet subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel, Ndoping Coaching. You can also find us on Facebook and Ndoping Coaching. On Instagram, we are Ndoping_CEO. Our website is www.ndopingceo.com. Thank you so much for the time you took in watching our video today, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video. Take care and bye now.